For the color and composition students, this second assignment is called Hue as Value. And it asks you to use cut paper collage. And typically you can use magazines or other paper that you have available. You don't necessarily need to go buy color paper stock. It would be very expensive and cost prohibitive. So the Hue as Value assignment, again, the terminology should be familiar to you. Materials, I recommend full color magazines and some color swatches if you have them. Glue stick or rubber cement, scissors or X-Acto knife, 2-ply or heavier Bristol board. I talked briefly here about how craft is critical. You could mat these for a student show in the future if you're really happy with an assignment and you want to include it in the student show. I encourage you to either purchase a mat or make a mat for your work. But in general, you want to at least keep your final product in a portfolio, your final designs, and some sort of portfolio to keep them clean and crisp. The purpose of using cut and torn paper for a lot of the color studies in this course allows students to work quickly and to explore the effect of different colors, amounts of composition, and compositions with a minimum effort and time. Students can focus on color without having to mix paints, wait for them to dry, and learn how to use a brush. It is the process of trying different colors, varying amounts, etc., that is of most value to students and to learning. Students need to put work on the floor or wall and to stand over or back from it to evaluate what they have done and determine changes. Without the process, there is small benefit for students in doing the exercises. Meaning, again, your work will look different from working up close when you put it on the wall, put it far away from yourself, and take a look at how it holds up. The process of critiquing your work on a wall with other artists is very useful. And obviously in a sort of blended format such as we find ourselves this semester in 2021, you may have to do this through the virtual classroom. So the exercise itself asks you to think about how color also has a specific value. Each hue has an equivalent black to gray value. To illustrate, select 6 hues at random. Cut into swatches 3/4 by 3 inches and adhere them to Bristol board. Run them through a color copier set for black and white, or use a black and white filter on your phone to compare the values. This should provide reasonable equivalence in black and gray values for each hue. Arrange the black and gray values vertically in a progression with the darkest value on top. The swatches should butt against one another. To the left of the grayscale, arrange the hues adjacent to their respective black or gray equivalent. The swatches of hues should butt against each other and also to the grayscale. The result should be a vertical rectangle divided in half vertically and divided horizontally into 6 segments, with hues on the left of their equivalent grays on the right. Craft in doing this exercise is very important. Some student examples. Now, you'll notice right away these are not exactly the same size that I recommended, but the student did a very nice job in selecting values that were closely related to the hues. And the image below it kind of shows you what you might see on your own design when you run it through your black and white filter on your phone, or you put it through a black and white copier. So the idea being that value is the amount of light or dark within a hue, and here is to kind of grapple with the darkness and lightness of particular colors. Now, you might not think of red as being a very dark color because people think, oh, red is very bright, but actually it is usually quite dark. And this is a good example of where you can see just how dark it is in relation to these other colors that the artist selected. Here's another good version. The red on the top is maybe a little lighter than in value than the black next to it. You can kind of squint and see the differences also. So if it kind of jumps out at you as being quite a bit lighter, like this blue seems a little light for this particular gray, you may want to find a darker blue. And you can run these through your photo filter if you like to kind of experiment with how they look in black and white. If you have questions about the Hues value assignment, please post them in the comments and see the Google Classroom for due dates.